Two in the box.
Ready to go.
We be fast and
They be slow.
Hey guys, welcome on back to the AnKorage where everything is awesome. A year ago, I got involved with a crowdfunding campaign from Hasbro, namely Hasbro Pulse, and that was for the Ghostbusters Plasma Series 2 in the box, Ghost Trap, and PKE meter. And it went for a month, and it ended on like December 11th, I believe it was. And then, you know, it would take a year to further develop it and produce it and ship it out to everybody. And they had a promise that it was going to be at least shipped by the end of fall of 2024. It's the end of fall now. It actually ends in a few days. And yesterday, it arrived, finally. So, why don't we get into an honest review of the PKE meter and the Ghost Trap. So we're going to do that today on Buster Quest. Hey, welcome on back. And so what we've got is we've got the two in the box, that's what they title it. And what was that all about? Why did they decide on two in the box? What was it? It wasn't Ghostbusters 1.
The Statue of Liberty debacle of 1989.
That's it. It was Ghostbusters 2. And yeah, it was a debacle. They said it, not me. So, and, you know, it's to go along with Ghostbusters 2. And why is that? Yeah. So they're going along with that. And, you know, and that's perfectly fine. You know, because, you know, it's the second Ghostbusters Haslab that they were doing, that Hasbro was doing, or Hasbro Pulse in particular, the Haslab group, and you know, it only makes sense and stuff like that. So, you know, but you know, that's why they call it two in the box. You know, because it's two items, which is the Ghost Trap and the PKE meter, versus the Proton pack, which was the first one. And these are not necessarily proper replicas, but they're pretty close. You know, the idea is to make something similar, and these ones are done very well. And so now for the first honest piece and stuff like that. Yeah, why do they call it the two in the box? Well, I just described that. But, you know, how is it actually presented and stuff like that? Well, you've got your trap, you've got your meter, and so there's your two, and, you know, they're actually put, not just one box, but two boxes. Let's see if I can slide these over a little bit here. Two boxes. So you got two in two boxes. Hold on. In a box. In a box. And yet another box. So, two in a box, in a box, in a box. Or two in two boxes, in a box, in a box, in a box. That's what it is. So, yeah. And it's kind of funny. Yeah, that's just what it is. But, you know, it's you know, it's two in the box for the sake of Ghostbusters 2 and stuff like that. And so, about the box, the product box that it came in, which is this one. This one is done very, very nicely. The artwork is fantastic on it. You know, this is the proverbial top of the box. You know, you got your No Ghost logo. You've got a note here from Janine that says, you know, please return all underlined. Equipment to the storage room. This means you, Peter. And it's from Janine. And then it's got another stamp or another label down in the corner that says, do not look directly into the trap. I'm going to look directly into the trap. Why not? And of course, it's got your black and yellow caution tape right there, stuff like that. And then along the sides, you got one that says 2 in the box, ghost trap PKE meter, and there's a tag of sorts that's right here that's hanging. It says that it's evidence, and it's evidence because of the court scene in Ghostbusters 2. It's pretty cool. Because they were brought to court for, whatever that whole thing was about. I don't watch the movie. I have it, but I don't watch it because I don't like it. It's like they were trying to be funny and it shows. And I've said that many times before. And, and also in the artwork, you've got the pink mood slime that makes it look like it's oozing out. So that's fine. It looks really nice and stuff like that. And let's see. It's got handles on the side, because this is supposed to be like one of those types of cases, like a trunk case of sorts, and nothing fancy on the bottom except for legal stuff, usual with stuff like that. And some of that is actually repeated on another part here. And there's another label on here that says it was inspected by Winston Zedmore. And to throw a little something extra out to Ernie Hudson, because he wanted to have more involvement in the story, and he definitely does. And he's very appreciative of it. And there we are. And he now has the the Paranormal Research Center. So it's basically a division of Ghostbusters there in New York, and it's got the logo right here. It's a No Ghost logo that's got a gear on it, and there we go. So those are the boxes. That's the main outside box, and then of course the inner boxes are these guys, where it has some of the same repetitive stuff on it too in the box, so on and so forth. And these items are serialized, so they have serial numbers, and much like the Proton packs did. And the funny thing about it is, the serial number is printed on the box right down here, on this one and on the other. So there's that one, there's this one. And I look, and I'm, just looking at them just out of curiosity. I looked at them, and they are 10 units different. So, yeah. So this was, just looking at the numbers, and they start all of them with the numbers of 4-2. Okay. Serial numbers to indicate when they were made and what number in the run that they are. Well, all of them begin with 4-2 because the entirety was built. All of these production ones were built in 24, and it's 4-2, which is 24 backwards. Pointless, but whatever, And I'm looking at mine, and mine is this one and this one. And, my trap is one number, and my PKE meter was made 10 units below that. Why? It's like, so whoever has the other number or whatever's, the corresponding units and stuff like that, you're your collection is now worth more. Figure that one. So, so that's regarding the shipping and stuff like that. Regarding, everything from Haslab, Hasbro, Pulse, Hasbro, so on and so forth. Over the course of this past year and stuff like that. And as far as their transparency with the backers of the campaign, virtually none. And I don't particularly appreciate that, but I get it. It's like, yeah, they had a video come out, and the Q&A back in December at the very beginning of the development process, or right before the end of the campaign, to try to boost up the order numbers a little bit, which is all perfectly fine, and stuff like that. But over the course of the year, there was Ghostbusters Day in June. Okay, that's cool. They had their prototypes still being used and stuff like that, just to talk it up a lot more. And the Ghostbusters Day was actually held down at the firehouse down in New York, which from my positioning here, it's in that direction. But whatever. And that's fine, Andy. Whatever. And then nothing until SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, and stuff like that. Maybe another couple other conventions that may have shown up at, like PAX, maybe, I don't know. But they were essentially no, not a word. And they took the approach of, like, you give us the money, we make the product, we ship it to you. We don't have to tell you anything until it's shipped, or until it's until it's actually out of the building. And yeah, they held to that. People wanted to know when it was shipped. All the way to the point of, like, okay, the shipping label's been created, and excuse me, that's Freya. People wanted to know when it got shipped. Okay, they did that, but not when it was shipped. It was after it got shipped, while it was on the way. Because for my research with FedEx, the label was created on December 3rd. I didn't hear anything for like another week later, when I finally received an email from Hasbro Pulse saying, it's left the building. So what? I don't want to know when it's halfway here. It came by truck from Chino, California. And, that's, Chino, change the O to an A. Well, they were made in China, so China, Chino. There you go. All right. That's enough on that. So why don't we get into my honest review of the trap and the PKE meter. All right. We're actually going to start off with the PKE meter. So if you wanted to see the trap, that's coming. We'll start off with the PKE meter. So here we are right here. I need to move my viewfinder so I can see it a little better. Come on, tilt right. Yeah. Okay, but either way, here it is. Like so. All right, or why don't we hold it like Zach holds it? Here there. Isn't that great? Fantastic. Anyways, now the PKE meter itself is derived from an Iona Shoe Polisher from the 70s. So basically, and this is scanned from the original prop, and So, which is great. So it's full size, and the scan detail is amazing. I like it very much. And so basically, if you're holding one of these, you're holding an actual meter, as it were. You know, granted, this one is just a toy version, but it's got some good weight to it. It's got, one guy said, it's got some heft. So, and the trap even more so. But with this, so here's your display, and then you've got rocker switches for the ionization levels and a mute, and then you've got some buttons here for actuating the wings, which are these pieces right along on this side. So that's really good. And then we've got, from Afterlife, the addition of the taser mode, which is underneath this safety cover of sorts. So this takes 3 AA batteries, and a plus to Hasbro is that, you know, it is like I was thinking. It is in a pyramid kind of shape, and they put a little ribbon underneath there so that it'd be easier to pop them out. And so, like, where is the serial number on this unit? Well, it's not in plain view. My guess, it might be underneath the battery cover, which is on the back of the handle, which is fine. And and then on the bottom, there is a 1/4-20 screw thread, you know, for mounting on a tripod or similar type things. Why for this, I have no idea. There's also one for the trap pedal. Why, I have no idea. I don't see any point in it, but I'm sure there's an application that it can be used for. And then you've got your power switch here. You got off, mode 1 and mode 2. One of the modes is just for, you know, playing with it and actuating everything. The other mode is EMF mode, electromagnetic frequencies. So, you know, you can actually read EMF. You know, it's not very strong. Do you want to use it for actually trying to detect ghosts? I suppose you could. Could you pick up the EM radiation coming off your TV or computer? Sure, you could do that. Why? I don't know. But in either sense. So we're going to switch this over and turn it on. And so now, if I press on one of these, there we go. And it's currently on mute, so that's why no sound. But, you know, it's lit up, and you can see it's on high ionization of sorts right now. We'll switch it, and there we go. There's low ionization, which is that, and you might be able to hear that there. I should probably grab the other microphone so you can hear it, but so yeah, I just use my microphone that I'm wearing. And then of course you got the wings on the side, and you can see that one of the things that I didn't want is, you know, having all these lights just go down in sequence. I wanted the randomness, and we got that, so that's good. As far as the width of these go, it's wrong, because the actual prop, you know, these are, you know, if you take the distance, let me shut this off for a second. If we take the distance from the end of the LED to the side, you know, the LEDs are too big. They need to be just a hair smaller, and the distance would be allowed to bring the width in even narrower. So the wings are wrong, but they're passable. They work and everything. So I'll turn this back on. So we've got them going here, and we can, there we go. they move out. So we've got, we've got a down button and we have an up button, which is really good to allow for some play with that. So the actual movie prop, turn that back on mute. The actual movie prop uses a rotary dial, and it's wireless radio, and it allows very fine control, very, very fine. So that, these would move very, very slow. You could do it really, really fast, everything like that. Now, these don't have that kind of functionality. Here, you have to tap the button really quick, or really, you have to try to mimic that with these two buttons down here. These ones up here, this one starts like a pre-written program. There's some randomization to it and stuff like that. And then this one will actually bring everything back in and possibly shut it off. There we go. And so there's that. So, it's got that pre-written thing and stuff like that. And when it's on, I'll turn it back on here. Okay, so I'll hold it like that so you can see the lights and not get blinded on the wings. You see the randomness and stuff like that. Well, if I hold it this way and expand them all the way, you can see that the lights go crazy when the wings are completely outstretched. And that is to mimic the actual prop in the films and stuff like that. And it is fabulous. And, the sound will actually it gets a lot faster to coincide with that. So that's really good. And then it shuts off. There we go. So, and this has one other function. So, if I get it going. Okay, so if I'm out and around and I'm scanning and everything like that, and I come across something that has a high ionization rate or is just, a panicky kind of thing, we have taser mode. This actually has a taser. Not for real, but, it's it's not a real taser, it's a toy. So nobody go making real tasers out of this thing, please. They said it, and I'm saying it too. Don't do that. But we get the dedicated alert type thing, and we've got the nubs up here for the taser on the very end, which are right there and right on the very tips, and there we are. And so this is really cool. Now this is, in order to do this effect, the wings have to be double hinged, essentially, because if you see it, it goes back and forth like that, and then, of course, see that? It's a separate housing holding the wings. It's the housing that holds the wings, but that housing is actually what comes out to allow this extension to take place. So there's that. And to put these back in, you have to put them back in one at a time by that hinge first, like that, and then this one, and then it will close on its own. See? And there we go. And that is the PKE meter. And here we have the trap. Change my angle a little bit. Sorry, you can't see my legs, but whatever. Just trying to work on trying to get good angles. But here is the trap. Turn that around. Trying to look at the viewfinder and make sure this is still in the shot. So yeah, here's the trap. And this has some weight to it. This by itself is about 5 to 7 pounds. So, and of course I'm using this thing here so that you can kind of see the measurements a little bit. See, that's over on 13, and over here is over on 3. So it's about 10 inches long. The handle boosted out another couple of inches and stuff like that. And you can actually see I've got a cable here. This is the cable that goes out to the pedal. I'll show you that in a second. But here's that. And, you know, so we've got, you know, this red here. That's a light. And here's the switch. Click it backwards and it turns on the rumble functionality, which I'm not going to bother with. Click it forward all the way and it actually turns on the trap. Both ways turn on the trap. You just get that added rumble functionality when you go backwards. And, you know, here we've got the bar graph LEDs. And right on the very end here we have an IR indicator, which means that there's interconnectivity between this and the trap. So, am I going to demonstrate it? No, probably not. But, you know, you just extend the wings all the way out and it sends a signal for a sound in here to go. So I will turn it on and I will turn this up all the way, and the volume is all the way up. On the side, this side, the right side, this is a volume control. This is plastic. Now, this plate here is metal, probably aluminum, my guess. And this, shut up, shut you off. This plate here is plastic. The resistor is plastic, but you know, the little piece in the center does spin freely and such like that. And then on the other side we have the ion rods, and this is what Hasbro was calling, or the guys at Haslab was calling it, the Spectre Selector. You can select different goats, and I'll talk about that a little more in a second. These ion rods are removable, and here's why. If the Ghostbusters 1 and the one from Afterlife and in Frozen Empire, there's the red. Now, these here, you got your connection points, and then you have a switch in between, which is what identifies the sounds that comes out of the Spectre Selector. So, with the red, you get the Ghostbusters 1, and you can also get Afterlife in a particular way, basically. And then there are silver ones that allow you to hear Ghostbusters 2 sound effects, or ghosts from the Spectre Selector and stuff like that. I will not be putting on the silver one because I am not a fan of Ghostbusters 2, so there we go. And as far as getting Afterlife sounds goes, you know, you can just take one off, because the Afterlife sounds will activate if one of these is in here. And that is mainly because, and you may not be able to see it all that well, but in the center there you can see a piece of plastic sticking up. That is actually the switch attenuator for the actual switch in the center. So if only one is attenuated, you get the Afterlife. If they're both attenuated, you get Ghostbusters 1. If neither of them are attenuated, then you get Ghostbusters 2. So I'm going to keep the red ones on here because, well, more films have those, and therefore it is more authentic. Sorry, but yeah. So there we go. As far as the operability of this thing, well, on the top of the handle is a release lever, and you pull that, and then you can slide this out. This is the part that would remain in the containment unit for extracting the ghost from this piece and put into the tank. And you know, I thought the unit originally back in '84, I thought it was everything behind the wall. But no, there's actually a tank back there, as we saw in Frozen Empire. There's an actual tank back there behind the wall. And the serial number for the trap is right here, and the button, we've got a couple of screws that act like captive screws, and removes the cap to the batteries. It's the battery compartment, and it goes right in there. And then take this. There's a couple of tracks down at the bottom, and to allow you to slide it back in. And there's a nice logical. It's like a Logix kind of electronics connector. You just slide it back in, make that, and then it reconnected. And there we go. So, and then if I turn this on, if you look at this animation, it's going from right to left. That's wrong. It should be going left to right. Of course, there's a thing here where you can change the directions. And you can also change the different animations. That's the correct one right there. However, this function is not, it's not in control of the default animation. So, if I've got this, let's see. Okay, got this one here, which is the Cylon effect, or the Night Industries 2000, based on the scan on the front of the car. If I shut this off at this point, okay, it gets shut off. And then if I turn it back on, it's going back from right to left. So, changing these animations is great and everything like that, but it doesn't change the default. It doesn't tell the default that, or it's not a default selector. It should be a default selector, which is one of these knobs on the front. So what's the solution to that? Well, the logical approach is, well, shut up. The logical approach would be to unscrew these screws, because real hardware was used when they produced this. Unscrew the corner screws, take this plate off, take the bar graph off, and flip it around to put it back on. However, I doubt that's the case, because if you want to do something cheaper, make it a bundle. This LED right here, this IR sensor, and this is more than likely all on the same PCB. And if that's the instance, Hasbro cheaped out on it. They should all be separate, 1, 2, and 3, not one gigantic thing. I mean, I see the point of having it as a single item, but if they're going to go single item, then make this. This should have been made as the knob on the front that changes the animations should have been made into a default selector, not a, well, only while I'm playing with it selector. And the other one is a different functionality, and there's two others. I'll see if I can get these up a little bit. There we go. So you can kind of see we've got two knobs. These are your selectors. This is that animation selector up top. You rock it one direction to make a change. You can rock it the other direction to make a change. Back and forth. And that's fine. This other one works in functionality with the trap. As far as how long it is. A short one is one, you get a shorter with one selection, and with the other you get a longer animation and such. And then there's two additional switches here that do not have any functionality. They are on the outside. They're the rectangular ones. They're there, and they are working switches, but they they don't serve any purpose on the trap. They're just there for looks. And to make it more authentic. So there's that. And then we have the pedal, which is this guy. Push this over here, out of the way. So here's the pedal. And, you know, let's get a view of it there, like that. Now this is all primarily plastic. Now this is a plastic pedal itself. The housing is plastic. This is a relay. You know, it's a makeshift relay. It's not an actual relay. It's a fake one. Hasbro did a fantastic job on putting this together, and you know, and especially the details for this relay. Now, in the original Ghostbusters film in '84, this is the orientation that it was in, that it was standing up right there. In Afterlife, this was relocated to where this plate is right here, so that it would be straight out, so that when someone would step on it, you'd see more of their foot versus getting interrupted by the sight of the relay. That's all well and good, whatever. But as far as, like, if you want to go back to original authenticity, keep it in the up. I'm going to keep mine in the up. But, you know, there are actual metal parts in there, and it is fantastic. I see a spring. I see metal plates. I see something. Now, is it actually a working relay? No, I don't believe it is, because Hasbro made it. They're not in the business of making relays. They're in the business of making toys. So there we go. And because this thing is primarily entirely plastic, they say, don't go stomping on it. Yeah, so, yeah. People are going to want to stomp on it. Well, okay, whatever. And with the way how this works is if I turn it on and I step on it, trap opens up, and there we see it. And we have a screen in there, and if I tip it again, it closes it. So, there you go. And if you let it sit a little longer, it'll be blinking and nothing else is happening. So that's all well and good. So if I switch, okay, now I've switched modes because you hear a little click noise or chunk noise. Step on it. There is the longer animation. And you step on it again, and it closes it. And there you go. And there's the animations of afterwards, which goes right along with how it operated in the original film back in '84. So there we go. And furthermore on the trap, the ribbon cable in the back. This does appear to be actual data cable, ribbon cable, because, you know, it doesn't feel to be, you know, it will actually hold its shape when you bend it. And it's got a couple of zip ties for, you know, to make it look authentic, stuff like that. But wire number 1 at the very beginning is red all the way the entire length. So if I was to pull off these connectors on the end and pull this out, I'd probably see actual wire in the center, because on the Proton pack, the ribbon cable on that is a real data cable. And how I can tell that is when I open up the back, or the motherboard, you know, it's and I look at the ends, those are actual wires. So there we go. And the connectors on these things are very good. This cable here between the pedal and the trap is 9 feet long, so that you can actually roll it out. If I can get this off of here. There we go. This is an aviation connector right here. And it's metal, solid metal. This is what we did not get on the Proton packs. And a number of people were complaining that they weren't getting the connectivity that they wanted or get a tight fit, stuff like that. You know, it's like, you know, if they did it right, there would be no problem. You know, if you go carefully and slowly and stuff like that, it'll work just fine. Mine works just fine. You know, not to pat myself on the back, but I did it right, I guess. Yeah. But this cable is very nice. It's very strong, very rigid. It's very good. Now, is the cable actually aviation cable? I highly doubt it. But these connectors are aviation connectors. So that's really good. And there we go. They are keyed. Yeah, that's a problem. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll shut it off here. But, you know, they are keyed, so they can only go in one way, and that's good because it has to have specific signals going to and from the pedal, or from the pedal to the trap, you know, more or less. It has to be specific signals on specific wires. There's 3 of them. And, yeah, so that's that. Now, what we got as a little extra treat, where did they go? They fell off. There they are. We got these little covers. These are to mimic the pneumatics from the movies. So, in the universe, the pedal and the trap has a pneumatic connection, so it's a pneumatic hose. Because if we look at the base of this, you know, from between the actual pedal itself and the base, you have a piece of hose here. So the idea would be is to open the trap. You would stomp on it to force air through the line into the trap to open up the trap. And there's a second one here to put on that. So on this, for the 2 in the box, these are there to be used as when you have it on display, you can make it look a little more authentic to the movie ones, stuff like that. So there we go. So there's that. And let's see. As far as the inside, there's an extra switch. It's a button underneath at the very front. If you tap on it, it opens up the trap into what they're calling service mode. That's so that you can get inside and you can see the screen here. If I can get a good angle of light, there you go. There's a screen, and you know, the easiest way to do it is just to turn it over and it pops out. There it is. It's just a little, it's to cover up what's going on the inside, which is, you know, there's a cavity in there. And there's a lot of detailing in there, and it looks really good. And, you know, people use that area to put in little smoke gizmos and stuff like that to give it a smoking kind of look, which is fine and everything. And when it's in this mode for a little bit, for like 30 seconds or a minute, there's a sound that goes with it. If I close it, there it is. There's the sound. You know, that's so that you can get inside. Hit it again, and it closes it. Puts if and that. Now, if we hit it twice, yeah, it opens it up, gives you the animation. You know, everything's blinking. It's all happy, honky dory. Let it run its whole segment. Closes it. Oh, let's get this reconnected because it's not doing what I thought it would. A long press of that button gives you that little animation of sorts, you know, the sound, and then it starts to do a countdown on this bar graph here. And when it gets to the end, we're going to get a little extra treat. So we can see on the lights, we're getting Morse code. What does the Morse code say? It says, "Hello World." If you're curious on what Hello World is from, do a search for that and you can see it. So I'll shut that off and there we go. So that may not be every little thing about the trap and the PKE meter, but it's something. So why don't we get into the extras? Hey, alright, I'm back and I had to switch cameras mainly because the battery died on my main camera, so I figured I'd switch over to here. Yeah, the audio is a little better anyways. Yeah, granted that's a new wireless mic, but still tweaking that a little bit. Still a little oversensitive. Just gotta figure out the right volume to use, which I think I figured it out. But in either sense, we're on to the part regarding the extras regarding it. Well, in the box we also got a little piece. We got an envelope with some different things. Two main things right off the bat. We got the safety / legal stuff. Both of those are one and the same. So there you go. Safety and legal. They share a bed, but in either sense. We also got a sheet of 3 stickers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stickers. Sorry. This one, we got Camp Wakanda, we got Ray's books, and we've also got Stay Puft Marshmallows, and the logo title card for Peter Venkman's World of the Psychic, go along with Ghostbuster 2. Whatever. That'll sit in the box. All right. And then we also got like a blueprint style kind of instruction template of sorts, so this can be beneficial and yeah, very useful. There you go. Well, I already know how everything works and operates, so I don't have to worry about it. So there we go. And we also received a large poster size blueprint set of both items. Let's see if I can unfold it here. This. So with that, you know, for anyone who wants to mount that as a poster and put it on their wall, they can. They don't necessarily have to. I'm not going to. It's going to stay in the box, and that's mainly because, you know, if I had a room that I could put it in, sure, I'd do it. But at the same time, I wouldn't, because it's folded. And it got creases, it's folding creases. I'd want it rolled, but that's a little too picky. But that's just my preference because, you know, OCD in either sense. We also received, if I can get this open. There we go. We received a few cards. These right here. These are made from plain cardstock, which is really cool. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Of course, I drop them. And these are ESP cards. I'm sure there's an actual name for them. But we've got circle, 3 wavy lines, star, square, and a plus sign. So, what am I holding up? I'm not going to tell you because my video, my choice, whatever. Alrighty, so we got those. Those are kind of cute. You could use these at parties, see if anybody's psychic or whatever. You do that. We also received this. Let me get it out of the little baggie here. It says held on with Scotch tape, so I'm trying not to tear the plastic. There we go. All right. Okay, so we've got, if I can hold it right, we've got a little ID badge of sorts, or an access badge. It's shiny, as you can see. It's nice and reflective. And then on the back side, it is not reflective. This is an access card. You see it's got a mag stripe on it. And just so you know, this is not a real mag stripe. It would be glossy. That would be the telltale sign that if it's glossy, whatever. This is not an actual sliding card or anything like that. It's just a, you know, a neat little piece of tchotchke. This would allow me access to the Paranormal Research Center that Winston Zedmore runs. You know, I'd use this to unlock it and let me in. So this is cool. I like this a lot. I would need to get myself a lanyard because it, you know, it is hole punched at the top, so it, you know, you can see that. So I get a little lanyard to have that there, but I would also want to get a little sleeve for it to sit in so that I could have it dangling like this. And you know, I could be like, you know, but nice little side joke. I am a card carrying Ghostbuster, and there's the proof. Anyways, and this was released as part of a stretch goal. I believe it was the 4th stretch goal, which was if they had 20,000 backers, you'd get this, and you'd also get a specific patch, and I'll show you what that was in a second. But we got 3 other patches. You got this one right off the bat. This is the Moogly No Ghost. And then we received this one after a stretch goal, which is a mini puff. It's cute. And then we received a special Haslab one. See, that would be the orientation specifically. That's cute. And then this is that 4th tier for 20,000. You got these 2 things for 20,000. Okay. Now, these patches are, you know, they're fabricy. They are embroidered. So that makes them a top quality patch right there, is that the entire thing, the entire material is all embroidered. So that is fabulous. The one downfall is that they are not iron-on. because there's no material on the back that can be used for iron-on application. So these have to be sewed on. Have to be sewn on. And for me, that's no never mind. I don't have any particular care about that or whatever. I've got them. These are going to go into the box. Maybe I'll use them for display or something at some point. And then later on, in the campaign, after so many backers, got this guy, which is, this one came second. The first one was this guy. This is a holster for the trap, and it is solid metal. I want to say steel, but it might be actually, yeah, that's steel. That's heavy. It's solid. And the snap forms on the side, if I can get this unsnapped. There we go. This portion here, this is solid metal too, which is good. That thing is heavy. And as you can see, I've got it all up on my shelves there. That's where they're going to be. Maybe not in that specific positioning, but, you know, relative. And because that's where that stuff is going to be. And then, of course, when Halloween comes around, I'll take them down and I'll use them and stuff like that. This is really good. You know, it's solid metal, very stable, nice and wide belt loops here, so I can get my Battlestar Galactica utility belt through there because it's black, and of course my jumpsuit is black, so it matches. And you know, I'd get that in there and get that in there. The covering is pleather. You know, I'll say it's a high quality pleather. I mean, we're talking Hasbro Pulse. You know, they spend a little extra money on some good quality material. Time will tell, though, and I'll show you why. So there's that, and it's got the little strap. This goes around the trap underneath the handle to make sure that if it happens to slide off or you don't put it on right, this will catch it. And it's a nice firm snap, and it holds on nice and tight. So that's really good. And it's got the V-clip right here. So you just slide the trap V-clip onto that, and this will hold it nice and snug. So that's really good. And later on in, you know, the second to last stretch goal, we got a holster for the PKE meter. And, you know, nice high quality snaps. It's that same pleather material, but of course, you know, being Hasbro Pulse, it's supposed to be better quality. So you would say that it's a high quality pleather, fake leather, and it's nice and strong and durable, and it's very good. But I do have one issue with it. I need the PKE meter for this. All right, so here I've got the PKE meter. I am going to slide it in. Now, I want you to look at this first, actually. Look at how smooth this is. That's the thing about it. Slide it in. Make sure it's happy. And there you go. See that? It's got the indentation here. That's where the time will tell comes into play, because this pleather wasn't formed to fit these corners down here exactly. So get that in there, you get that indentation. Over time, I fully expect it to deform the pleather in order to mold itself around those corners. And then it'll be great, you know, it'll be perfect or whatever. The only solution out of the box would be to try to mold it to it and stuff like that. But you I don't have plans on doing anything like that because that would actually cause damage to it. And for the collectability, you don't want to cause damage, or as little as possible, because, condition is everything when it comes to this stuff. But this is a good holster. It does nice and strong, and it's got this little extra strap that comes over and snaps over. Now, there's no metal backing on here. It's not overly wide. It's not overly heavy. A belt will, a utility belt will be just fine, or a regular belt, stuff like that. But yeah, over time, wear and tear. So, will that affect, collectors, pawn shops, stuff like that? Yeah, maybe not. So, that's everything. Okay, so that is Hasbro Pulse's, the Haslab 2-in-the-box PKE meter and ghost trap, as you can see them right there. And I've got it. It's been a year. I'm glad that they came out, and kudos to the people who thought of doing this after the Proton pack one was done. It's just like, how can we follow this up in a good way? Why not do those things? It's just the logical progression, stuff like that. I want a containment unit, not the whole thing, because you got to have a big tank that's like 10 or so feet long, and no, the what everybody knows, the red part that sits on the wall that you put the trap in and take out and hit the 3 buttons and throw the lever. That's what I want. I want that there because that would go right on this wall, right in here, and I would recabulate the setup here. And the other reason why is because I'd put it here is because right on the other side of the wall is the stairway to the building, and there's an access underneath it because there's a booster pump and some pipes for the water to the other floors on this end. And it's like 10 feet deep. It comes out to about here, if not a little further, because the stairs are right there. And it stands about this high off the ground, which is about between 4.5 and 5 feet. And it's a nice big open area, and it's just got the pipes and a pump in there. And I'm like, I could fit a tank in there to use with a containment unit and store ghosts from the condo complex. So, and that would just be as a joke, that I'd have the unit up on the wall, and and then I would just say, yeah, if anybody did like trick-or-treating in the building, I'd be like, hey, in there is, a tank full of ghosts. If you want to see how they get in there, I'll show you. Come on in here, I'll show you that. And I'll show you my Proton pack and my PKE meter, and you can have some extra candies, blah, 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 whatever. To make it festive for the holiday. And you have a couple of people around and stuff like that, and we'd go Ghostbusters crazy. So that would be funny. But I want that next. As far as these Haslabs go, these funding campaigns and such, I've been very happy that they have come out. They are super expensive, but it's neither here nor there. The good quality, and to have these things, I mean, that's something special since I saw the film originally in 1984, and all subsequent films. Although I missed Afterlife in the theater, I didn't know it was coming out, and heard about it afterwards. So, but I have it. Got it on TV. I've got it on my Roku. Happy. There we go. Yeah. So I'm glad for that and everything like that. So, in regards to the PKE meter, that was derived from a shoe polisher device, like I mentioned before, and there's a link down below that brings you to one in its box with all of its little attachments and stuff. It's a Canadian site. Hopefully it's still available. So if you're looking at this years down the road and it just doesn't happen to be, sorry. But as of today, which is, December 18th, 2024, it is up and you can see it. And it's kind of neat. Is it Bakelite? No. Is it plastic? I don't think so. I think it might be metal. It was made in the 70s, so I do think it's made out of like a steel casing. But I could be wrong. I mean, we're talking 70s. It could have been one or the other. That or plastic. Not Bakelite, because that's from way back in the day. Although, I really like the stuff. Wish I had some more stuff that uses it. But anyways. So we've got that. So I'm glad that this came out. And, I'm glad to have this stuff because back when Ghostbusters first came out, I thought it was cool and everything like that. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. This is funny. It's a comedy. It's not a dramedy, but it's a comedy with some serious stuff in there to a degree. And, it's like, and when I heard about the Proton Pack one, Haslab and stuff like that, something just sparked in my head that said, I know you're not really like a huge mega fan or anything like that, but you should do this. The one in a lifetime chance to get something that's scanned from an actual prop and do it. And then when this one was coming out, it was just the logical follow-up and everything like that. Will I do any more? Probably not. Just because it is so expensive. However, if a containment unit one does come up, then I'm probably going to jump in on that one because it's the containment unit, people. And this wall could use a little extra decoration. Just a little, not a lot. But it would complete this area. Yeah, I'd probably put this away or something. Bring it down the hall. The box is going down there soon enough to the storage locker as soon as I got that cleaned up. But there we go. So that is Two in the Box, and that is my honest review. And thank you for coming along. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see additional videos. And I might be doing this in the future, which I probably will be, and about whatever and stuff like that. And yeah. Oops, dropped it. So, as a going away present, tell me what this is. You are not a legitimate phenomenon. Thanks, Skál. Drink to victory.